What if dying was just the beginning? What if, instead of reaching the end of your life, your body simply rewound itself and started all over again? Somewhere deep beneath the surface of the ocean, there is a creature so small you could fit it on your thumbnail. It has no brain, no heart, no bones. And yet, scientists believe it may hold the secret to something humanity has chased for thousands of years: immortality. This is not science fiction. This is not a myth passed down through ancient cultures. This is a real, living organism that exists right now, in the waters of our planet, quietly defying one of the most fundamental laws of nature. This is the story of Turritopsis dohrnii, the immortal jellyfish. Let's go back to where every story begins: birth. A tiny jellyfish starts its life as something called a polyp. Picture a small, tube-shaped creature attached to the ocean floor, barely visible, almost like a little plant rooted in the sand. It doesn't swim. It doesn't hunt. It simply waits. Then, slowly, something extraordinary happens. The polyp transforms. It releases a free-swimming creature called a medusa, what we typically picture when we think of a jellyfish. Translucent, graceful, moving through the water like a tiny, ghostly umbrella pulsing open and closed. For most jellyfish, this is where life truly begins, and for most, it is also a countdown to the end. But not for this one. The immortal jellyfish grows, it matures, it reproduces. And then, when life gets hard, when it's injured or starving or sick or simply old, something happens that no other complex animal on Earth can do. Its body begins to reverse. Not metaphorically. Not slowly and gradually in ways we can barely measure. Literally, biologically, its cells transform back into their earliest state. The adult jellyfish sinks to the ocean floor, its body collapses inward, and it reverts back into a polyp. A fully mature animal turning itself back into a baby. Then it grows again. Then it can revert again. Over and over. Potentially forever. Scientists call this process transdifferentiation. It's a word that sounds like it belongs in a Marvel movie, but it is absolutely real, and it is absolutely mind-bending. What it means is that the jellyfish's cells, specialized cells that have already been assigned a job, whether that's being part of a muscle, or an organ, or outer tissue, those cells change their identity entirely and become something different. Imagine if the cells in your hand could decide to stop being hand cells and transform into liver cells instead. Or heart cells. Or brain cells. That is essentially what the immortal jellyfish does, but across its entire body. To understand why this matters so deeply, you have to understand why things die. Most living creatures age because of a process called cellular senescence. Over time, your cells divide and divide and divide, and with each division, something called a telomere, a protective cap at the end of your DNA, gets a little shorter. Eventually, the telomere is too short. The cell can no longer divide properly. It starts to malfunction. Tissues deteriorate. Organs weaken. The body, little by little, breaks down. This is aging. This is death. It is, as far as science understood it for centuries, inevitable. And then this tiny, translucent creature showed up in a lab and quietly shattered that assumption. The scientific community first started paying serious attention to Turritopsis dohrnii in the early 1990s. A German marine biology student named Christian Sommer was collecting jellyfish in the Mediterranean Sea off the coast of Italy, not expecting to find anything world-changing, just doing routine research. What he and his colleagues observed in the lab over the coming months left them confused, then fascinated, then electrified. The jellyfish they were studying weren't dying. They were regressing, going backward. And when researchers dug deeper into the biology, the implications were staggering. Word spread slowly through the scientific community. Then a Japanese scientist named Shin Kubota dedicated years of his life to studying this creature at the Shirahama Aquarium. He managed to keep colonies of immortal jellyfish alive in carefully maintained tanks, watching them cycle through their life stages again and again. He spoke about them with reverence, almost with awe, saying that understanding this animal might one day unlock the door to understanding human aging itself. He wasn't speaking as a man lost in fantasy. He was speaking as a scientist standing at the edge of something enormous. Now, here is where the story gets even more dramatic. Because nature, it turns out, may have already been using this secret for longer than we realize. The immortal jellyfish is not confined to one small part of the ocean. It originated in the warm waters of the Mediterranean. But today, it has been found in oceans all across the world. In the Atlantic, the Pacific, the waters off Japan and Panama and Spain. Scientists believe it may have spread by hitching rides in the ballast water of cargo ships. One species. Every ocean. Quietly multiplying. Possibly never dying of old age. Think about what that means for a moment. Somewhere in the dark, cold waters far beneath the waves, there may be jellyfish alive right now that were alive 100 years ago. 200 years ago. There is simply no way to know, because this creature leaves no trace of age the way we do. No gray hair. No wrinkles. Nowhere that accumulates and stays. It simply resets, and begins again. Of course, immortality is not the same as invincibility. The immortal jellyfish can still be eaten. It can be killed by a predator, destroyed by pollution, swept into an environment too hostile to survive. Biological immortality, the kind this creature possesses, simply means it has no fixed lifespan determined by aging. Given the right conditions, it does not have to die. That distinction is subtle but profound, and it is what makes scientists so hungry to understand the mechanisms driving it. Researchers today are diving into the genetics of Turritopsis dohrnii with the same intensity you'd use to crack open a safe you've been locked out of for 1,000 years. In 2022, a team of Spanish scientists published a landmark study mapping the jellyfish's genome and comparing it to a closely related species that does not have the ability to revert. What they found was extraordinary. The immortal jellyfish has specific genes involved in DNA repair, cell protection, and the regulation of cell cycle that appear to be supercharged compared to its mortal relative. Its biology is not just different. It is engineered, through millions of years of evolution, to resist the very damage that kills everything else. The question that scientists are now chasing, the question that keeps researchers awake at night and pushes funding committees to approve study after study, is this: can we learn from this creature? Can understanding how a jellyfish reverses its aging help us slow down, or even reverse, the aging process in humans? We are nowhere near that yet. The leap from a 1 mm marine invertebrate to the staggering complexity of a human body is monumental. But in science, the greatest breakthroughs almost always begin with a moment where someone looks at something impossible happening in nature, and decides to take it seriously. And this is that moment. We are living in it right now. There is something deeply moving about the existence of this animal. In a world where everything is temporary, where we build things and love things and hold things knowing they will all eventually be gone, this tiny, brainless, heartless creature floats through the sea untouched by time. It does not know what it is. It does not celebrate its own survival. But we know. And we are watching. And what we learn from it could change the story of human life in ways we haven't even begun to imagine. The ocean covers more than 70% of our planet. Most of it remains unexplored. Most of its creatures remain unknown. And yet here, hiding in plain sight, small enough to rest in a teardrop, is something that may hold the greatest biological secret in the history of life on Earth. The immortal jellyfish doesn't know it's extraordinary. But you do now. If stories like this one make you feel the way they make us feel, curious, amazed, hungry to understand the world we live in, then this channel is built for you. Every week, we go deep into the most astonishing true stories science, nature, and history have to offer. Subscribe right now, and make sure you never miss one. Because the universe is full of secrets. And we are just getting started.